So the government may be shutting down, and this could have ridiculous consequences on the everyday person and the economy in general. So this episode, we're going to break down everything you need to know about what is going on. So, bro, let's just get right into it. And before that happens, make sure y'all like the video and you subscribe to the channel. So let's go, bro.
Yo, man, this is big, bro. This is big. Who would have thought we'd be in this situation? But honestly, with the way that Congress and the president are, their differences, I'm not all the way surprised. But so I have some notes here that I kind of want to get into. And for people who don't know what a government shutdown is, it's basically when Congress and the president can't agree on a federal budget to fund these agencies, right, and fund these programs that they're a part of. So the Congress needs to pass 12 appropriation bills. So let's look at what those bills are. So first and foremost, those bills will be these. These are the 12 appropriation bills that need to be passed. You have energy, homeland security, agriculture, labor, health, education, all these things, commerce, defense, State Department, and everything you see on the screen here is basically what needs to be passed as far as the appropriation bills go. So just understand that we do need all 12 to be passed, but if only some get passed, we can have a partial shutdown of the government. And what are the effects? This is where it's tough, man, because what can happen is federal workers get furloughed, Congress members, the president, and Supreme Court justices will still get paid, but staff that they have will have to work without pay. So Newski, could you imagine showing up to work and not getting paid, bro? Like, how do you think that's gonna affect them?
I mean, it's gonna, one, obviously just not make people want to do anything, right? Like, we're not gonna be as productive, things are not gonna be passed, things are not gonna operate, and people are just not gonna be involved in what's going on. And it could cause a strike, it could cause more things to just stop in general, which is huge because now that's gonna impact the economy and the everyday person.
Yep, and you spot on with that. That actually happened in 2019. Like, airports had slowdowns, for example, because workers, they were calling off because they weren't getting paid. They said, why are you gonna show up? And then that, if airports are slowing down and all these different businesses are slowing down in general, and yeah, that's economic effect right there, right? That's GDP and everything. But so just know that Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits do continue, but paperwork and applications to receive those services may get stalled or delayed. All right. So as far as the government goes, right, we have parks, museums, non-essential services, those will close. Right, so your parks and museum, things that are not essential, those will close if the government has a shutdown. Passport processing, small business loans, those get delayed. So Newski, you have a business. How would you feel if your loans are getting delayed? You can't even get funding for your business.
Well, yeah, see, there's two things you said there that got my attention. One, the whole passport stuff. So election year is coming up, and if this really does pass through, because this is Q4 we're headed into, right? It's like, yo, if this is happening during, Biden's presidency, I wonder how that's going to impact his voting and his people that are following him. Because now it's like, yo, why would I want to vote for you if you couldn't even get this done? Why would I want to actually push this along if my people are not getting the citizenship or passport programs that you're passing along? Now, for small businesses, that runs the economy. People think it's just the larger companies. Well, larger companies have the biggest influence, of course, so they're the largest money makers, but the everyday business, aka the small businesses, what impacts a lot, and it's gonna have a huge impact in a negative way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, bro. Like, it's funny because this happened back in Trump's presidency, and people weren't really happy with that time period, because this is back in like 2019. There was a 35-day shutdown and GDP took a hit. We got GDP numbers coming out on Thursday as well, by the way, but that's just a side note. But it's like, we're really watching GDP right now because a lot of people are anticipating an upcoming recession. People think there's a major recession coming, and we've been talking about that on the show a little bit. And now with this shutdown, that's not gonna be what we want to see, but that's not gonna add to avoiding a recession. That's gonna probably incur one. So think about the timing here. We got a strike going on right now from UAW workers, the United Auto Workers. That's costing millions and potentially billions if it continues. And I know you're in the car industry and everything, but the prices might not be favorable. So that's unfortunate. You got student loans, repayment is back right now. And so already people are not really feeling too good as far as having money in their pockets because they have another expense. which is going to be student loans. And
I know
starting
people
back.
in general right now who have student loans that didn't pay for such a long time. Now they're going to have to pay. They forgot to even include it as a part of their monthly payments, bro. So now they were like living life for so long without that payment. Now you're adding an additional $300 to $400. It's not a small payment, right? That you're adding onto that. So now it's like on top of everything happening, here's like a little sprinkle on top.
Exactly. I'm telling you, the economy is in for a run right now because that obviously the government shutdown is going to add to this storm. We have right now a large and growing federal debt, as we all know. That's why we had the whole debt ceiling fiasco some months ago. There's a huge growing federal debt. This shutdown will only make things worse. How? One, reduced revenue for the government. So that's going to add to national debt. Two, it's going to increase costs to essential service workers because they're going to have to pay them overtime because of, like I said, about the furlough and everything, all the things that's going to go with these government essential workers. Three, it's going to delay economic growth, which in itself increases our debt to GDP ratio. And then four, it can negatively impact our credit rating. So I'm really worried about our credit rating right now because that would also increase the interest rate of government bonds, which then adds to our debt. So those are the effects that we're facing right now. And it is kind of scary. And I want to show really quickly what happened last time when you know how I talked about in 2018 into 2019, when the government shut down for 35 days. What I found to be a little bit interesting was the fact that, see how leading up, let me explain the chart because some people don't know what these mean. So,
I was about to say.
Yeah, so right now I'm basically showing the price action of the S&P 500 during the period leading up to the government shutdown. So if you see the direction of the chart going down, that means price was going down. All right. If you see the direction of the chart going up, that means price was going up. So this is the overall stock market, right? So guys, what y'all see is leading up to the shutdown, the market was selling off aggressively. Every red candle or every candle means it's one day. So this is multiple days of the market just selling off. But what I found interesting was that literally once the government shut down, which was late December, I think December 22nd, look how price started to rally on December 26th.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's as if like the fear of the shutdown is where everyone was selling off. And once it actually shut down, the market started to skyrocket.
Yeah, and I think that's really just because, bro, if you think about it, if you go back and just stay right there for me, I think you hit right on it, right? The actual fear is what people take advantage of, because now you're going to see a lot of the news talking about it, the media talking about it. We're talking about it right now because it's a possibility it might happen. It's not confirmed, it's a possibility. So now it's like, yo, if this really happens, it could be terrible. But when it happens and they do shut down, right? Like in this situation, it was already priced in. How much more can we go when the fear is already there? Like we're already anticipating it so heavily that when it happens, no one's shocked. It's like when you're talking to someone and you're in the little situationship area. It's like when you see someone pulling back, you're like, I already know, like they're probably gonna stop talking to me or something. And then when they do and they rip that bandit off, it's like, I mean, I was already anticipating it. So now you can up from there.
Exactly. All you gotta do is pay attention and see the signs. You know what I'm saying?
So
that's why brace for impact.
Exactly. I think that's why this whole situation is there. So right now, we're going down, right? We've been going down for quite some time. So it's like, well, that situation and this is the news that's kind of impacting it. I mean, how does this look?
I mean, yeah, look, this is today now, because I showed a chart from back when it happened in 2018 into 2019. This is what's going on in our time period. The market has been going down. It looks really similar. And October 1st is the date when we need everything to be organized between Congress and the president, or the government will shut down. So the date that everyone's looking towards is October 1st right now. So if we do shut down, what if the market repeats what it did in 2018-19 and it just goes up after that?
It wouldn't shock me at all. Because remember, guys, like if you guys have been following the channel, we always say September, October are like the rough months. that usually. So I could see a little bit of fall off in September, which we obviously have been seeing. And then as you see, Rel's even showing you. And then October, we could see a little bit more, but then towards the end of the year, it could really go up because everything is priced in. Like, we're not anticipating anything crazy anymore. So it's a possibility for sure.
Yep. So we'll definitely be looking towards that. I mean, that's ultimately like what is going on as far as the whole government shutdown situation, how it's affecting the market. We have been selling off. We do have PCE numbers coming out on Friday. So as far as economically, we're looking towards that as well. I already spoke about GDP numbers coming out, which you can always find on this calendar here on Market Watch. You can go to the economic calendar and see what's coming up next. So GDP revisions is 8:30 on Thursday. And then we got a PCE on Friday. So all these things will kind of determine some direction for the stock market, but just know that the market is really bracing for impact on this government shutdown. And that's why we've been selling off lately.
So if you like this, right, and you're thinking, oh, this was helpful, definitely like the video and definitely subscribe to the channel. We also want to know your thoughts. So comment below if you think it's going to happen. If you don't think it's going to happen, are you worried or not? Because it helps our channel grow. Plus, we like to engage with you guys. But thank you once again. Make sure you check us out on Wednesday. But until then, peace.
Peace.
Soundstripe.